Do you know someone who is always making bad decisions or going back to that bad relationship or just not taking care of themselves or just otherwise doing things that makes themselves suffer? And you want to help them, so you keep giving them actually good advice. And sometimes they even say like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Like I'm going to do that. I really need to do that." And then they just don't do it. You might be thinking, how do I help this person if they won't help themselves? And it's true, you can't make someone help themselves. But there is something you can do, which is kind of counterintuitive, which is to stop reacting to them and stop trying to help them change. But this is easier said than done because, the person comes to you and they're like, oh, I feel so bad. And you want to help them. And so you hold your tongue and you're like, you're still suffering. And so that's really difficult. You can also just cut them out of your life completely, but then you lose your whole relationship with them. And if you actually care about them and want them in your life, then that's not really an option. The way to get the best of both worlds, where you get to keep the relationship and you're not suffering, is by healing your own emotional wounds that are being triggered. And how do we know you have these emotional wounds? Because if you didn't have them, you would just not be bothered when this person tells you that they're miserable. And that might sound heartless, but that's actually just having good energetic boundaries. You can still love and care about someone without getting sucked into their drama and becoming miserable. And how do we heal emotional wounds? After 14 years of searching, the best way and most permanent way that I've found is with some form of trauma therapy. I use peak states trauma therapy because it's particularly good for nuanced interpersonal dynamics like this, but there are many others, EMDR being the most well known. One of my clients actually had this kind of relationship with her son, and she initially approached me to work with him, but I knew that this wouldn't fix anything because this is just more of her trying to fix him, which he's already resisting. So I told her to work with me, and she did, and after a couple months, she was way more relaxed, way less attached, and then magically, he started making changes on his own and started to become less miserable. You can't always count on this, but when there's an energetic dynamic that is supported by complementary traumas, if you heal your end of the equation, in many cases, the other person will start to change also just on their own. The other thing that can happen is that the two people kind of just naturally drift apart because they're not trauma bonded anymore and there's just nothing holding them together. And either way, you get to live in peace. So if there's a relationship that you would like to be different, send me a message, book a consultation. My consultations are free. We do healing work in the consultation so you can try it and see if it's a good fit. I'd love to make your relationships harmonious and fun and peaceful.